An exciting appointment, Mike.
Very exciting, Ian. Yes, yeah. I can't wait for us to get on the field and see what sort of difference James can make for us, because I think at the moment we're losing by fine margins. Everybody knows that we've been ahead in 7 of the 9 games at some stage, and we've only lost by the odd one goal in all of the time that we've lost, and we should have won against Notts County. I think we're getting that close, and I think what James brings to the table and his exciting, just his brand of football, but his tactics and his awareness of what needs to be done, his ability to change if things aren't going right to something else, I think it will make the world a difference. I'm really excited. I can't wait.
He has a really good set of qualifications. I mean,
Amazing.
Johan Cruyff, and that's very good, isn't it?
Yeah. And the guy went and paid for them all out of his own pocket. That's a measure of his ambition and his drive, and backing his own ability. I think he'll do very well here. I think he'll do very well. You heard him speak at the press conference, and he speaks very eloquently, but with a passion for the game as well. And he wants to be a manager. He's had a natural progression from youth development into coaching, into assistant managerial post, and then into manager. And he's learnt all the way along. Bright guy. So he puts all of the things that he's learned into his memory banks and applies them as he goes further along. And I think he'll bring all that to bear for Chesterfield. I think it's the dawn of a new era, if I dare say that.
Well, we all hope that, don't we?
Well, I'm hoping so.
His experience, of course, with youth development would stand him in very good stead, actually, with our young crop of players.
Absolutely. And I think one of the passions that he has got is the coaching side as well. He likes to develop talent of any age, but particularly I think our young players will really be drawn to him. I think he'll spot things and he'll enable them to become better players. I think the likes of Joe Rowley and young Rawson, I think they'll benefit tremendously from him.
Well, I was particularly thinking of Joe Rowley because for so many managers, so many relegations, it affected his game quite.
It has affected his game, and I think
we're seeing glimpses of him under John Pemberton. We're seeing glimpses
against
of the old Joe Rowley.
Absolutely, Joe is a great player, and I think he's just lost his mojo a little bit. You see him bring it back now.
Yeah.
Mike, you really showed your confidence in James by giving him a longer-term contract, especially considering the last appointment didn't quite work out.
Yep. Well, I think sometimes you have to back your own judgment, and ever since I've seen his application, I had a gut feeling. We went through a proper process so that it wasn't just a case of pick somebody out of a hat. You know, we sat down, we researched it. We brought Kevin Davies in and Lee Townsrow to help us. They're football men. They were blown away by his presentation. If they're blown away, that gives me great confidence. So I'm excited to appoint him because I think it's something different from what we've had before, and I think he'll bring us success. But let's not put too much pressure on him and expect him to win tomorrow. You know, he needs time. He needs time to change it because, you know, one thing that my business life learnt me is that if you're bringing the process of change management, don't expect it to work tomorrow. You've got to unfreeze the situation that you've got, change it, and then refreeze it again. And I think he'll need time to do that. As he said, let's wait and see in January.
Despite his age, and people will question his age, he's got a lot of experience, really.
Yes, he has. I mean, he started his coaching really young, and I think he found that was his passion. But I mean, he was a great player. He was a prolific striker in the National League. He had all his career in the National League, so he knows the National League well. He had 2 promotion seasons at Aldershot, where they made the playoffs on both occasions as an understudy to Gary Warwick. And it is different being number 2 to number 1. Number 1, all the responsibility is on your shoulders, and that can be pressure. Number 2, you haven't got that so much. But then he's gone to Gloucester, and he has been number 1, and he's made the decisions, and he's ridden well with the pressure. So I think he can do it.
The recruitment process, of course, has brought the greater Chesterfield family together, hasn't it? Because you've had like Kevin Davies,
absolutely,
well-respected managers that helping you out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kevin's input was fantastic, and I think it's a measure of the guy that he travelled all the way up here first thing on Monday morning, set off at the crack of dawn to get here for the interviews, and helped us out with that, and didn't leave here until something like 7-8 o'clock at night. Lee's with us. He's part of the club now in terms of our recruitment and scouting strategy, and that will drive us forward and help James along the line, because he will be saying to Lee, these are the sort of players that I'm interested in. Can you go out and see what's out there? And for every position on the field, what we'll have is 3 or 4 different players. and we'll know where they are contractually, we'll know what they can do and what the strengths and weaknesses are, how much they're likely to cost us, and whether they're available or whether they're not. And it'll be down to James then to say, well, I like the look of him, can I go and see him, and then make a decision. So it's a teamwork thing amongst them, and it goes away from the things that we've had in the past, like, we've got a striker injured. Does anybody know a striker? Oh, so-and-so, let's bring him in for a day or two. We can't have that. We're an ambitious club. We're putting the building blocks in place now for a club that wants to be playing in a high division and deserves to be playing in a high division. Now, at the moment, we don't deserve it because we're not producing it out on the field. James will turn that round. We need to make sure that the club can move with him when the promotions come.
It's about forward planning, isn't it?
Absolutely, really? Yeah. And
that's
our forte. I mean, the board, we're all football supporters. We've all been season ticket holders. We're all amateur managers. But our expertise is off the field, what we do around business. His expertise is on the field, and if we can marry the two, we'll have a very successful club.
James mentioned in the press conference he's going to leave it till January and let these players give him a chance. If January comes, it's not quite worked out, will he have a chance to bring his own players in?
I think you'll see players coming in before January. I think he'll strengthen one or two positions. I think what he'll do is he will assess the squad by January and decide which ones he can go forward with, which may be all of them, or which ones he doesn't want to go forward with. But that won't stop him bringing players in the meantime if he thinks he needs to strengthen in certain areas.
With the current players all on one-year contracts, of course, it gives them the opportunity to do what he did at Gloucester and create a completely new team next season, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that was always our desire. Stay up this season, then we've got a clean slate for any manager when we get to June, so that he can keep whatever players he wants, but he's not forced to. But as we were, we inherited 10 players on contracts that were quite expensive contracts, and we couldn't get out of them, even if we wanted. I'm not saying that we would have wanted to, but at the end of the day, we didn't have that option. And that took up 2/3 of the budget.
Yeah, you mentioned in the press conference that James did give you an hour presentation about what he wants to do. Is that something you didn't see from the other applicants?
No, not to that degree. We didn't ask the other applicants to do it. It was something that James particularly wanted to do, and I think he wanted to do it to demonstrate his knowledge and what he felt was wrong with the team and what we could actually do to turn it around.
To show in effect that he could hit the ground running.
Yes, yeah. I think he will. I'm going to go and have a look at his training methods out there in a minute, see what he's doing. But I think that he's modern, he's current, and I think that the players will get a real boost from it. I really do. I think that they will enjoy his training methods, and I think they'll respond. So as I say, I'm off to Weymouth tomorrow, 4.5 hour drive, because I want to have a look at it. I want to be there, just see what. And I know my expectations are probably a bit high, and I'm not putting the pressure on him because, it's the first game. But I'm excited. I just think it'll make a difference tomorrow.
Well, that's because you're a fan foremost.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yeah, I've been coming to Chesterfield for 60 years now, and it breaks my heart where we are, and I just want to do whatever I can to bring it back to where it should be. So,
I know we're looking forward now, Mike, but how hard was that chat with John Pemberton before?
It wasn't a hard chat at all. John and I had a great relationship. He supported me and I supported him, and I was disappointed when John felt that he'd come to the end of the road with it. It was a mutual decision at the end of the day, but it wasn't John was called into the chairman's office and sacked. Nothing could be further from the truth. I offered John 3 or 4 new players at the time, and he still felt no, it wasn't fair on the club. He needed to walk away from it, which was, I think, the measure of the guy. I think, other managers would have sat here and just took the money. John didn't, and I think that speaks volumes for him. But what it did do is give us an opportunity to sit down and say, right, which direction do we want to take the club in now? I think John had his chance. He was always going to have his chance for me because he'd done such a good job, and I think he'd earned that right. It didn't quite go right for him, which is really disappointing because I think that we were so close. But new era now, new manager, exciting new manager, different direction for the club because it's not the same type of manager that we've had before. You know, you've got, I mean, these young coaches, it's a whole different world for them. You know, I mean, the Pep Guardiolas and stuff, I'm not comparing him to Pep Guardiolas, I don't think I am. But these are the people, I mean, Guardiola says it gives them 5 seconds to get the ball back. James is in this same sort of vein because they've all been to the new institutes. You know, the Johan Cruyff Institute has got a great reputation. He's been there and come out with a master's degree. You know, he's got a master's degree in sports science from Nottingham Trent University. He's got a part master's degree from Manchester University in sports directorship. So he's an intelligent guy, you know, but he can apply that to football. And he's shown me that he can.